This is West Truther of the West Truther channel on YouTube, and I have a channel, Wonder Man, which none of my subscribers for West Truther, hardly none at all, has gone to the Wonder Man channel, not even one time. YouTube blocked me. I couldn't post a video, make a comment or anything for 2 or 3 weeks, and hardly nobody at all went to the Wonder Man channel. So I'm very disappointed in the majority of my subscribers. And you folks who don't watch my videos all the way through, it would be my wish that you who do not watch my videos all the way through, who do not have any respect for me, I don't monetize. But those of you who don't watch them and don't have respect for me, I would rather for you to unsubscribe to my channel. I don't want you at my channel. If you can't watch my videos all the way through, you know what your sign is. The politicians and their police state accomplices, and let me tell you something about police state. The police state is the first run on the ladder. You and me are not on the ladder at all. The police are supposed to be protecting us from chemtrails, from the heart machine, from the pharmaceutical industry, from GMO foods, but they don't, because the police state works for the United Nations, which is now the United States government and police state. They work for the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, the Swiss Octagon, and they're not your friends. If anybody in this country wants any changes done about anything, you've got to go to the police state first. And you know what they do, so you know what you need to do. The electromagnetic frequencies, they know about that. The direct energy weapons used on all those people in their homes and their properties and their animal friends in California, PG&E, they're burning up all the forest lands out there. The utility companies work and are controlled by the United Nations, the same as the Illuminati, the same as the police state of America. Those people in California, if they didn't get aroused by all of that houses being torched and burned down by microwave weapons, nothing is going to rouse them up. So I have a tendency to think that the majority of the people that live in California are nothing but a bunch of sniveling cowards. They're like a bunch of starving lapdogs who you could put excrement in the bowl and they'll lap it up. A starving lapdog will lap up almost anything you put in the bowl. And the people in California, they're taking it, and they're not doing anything about it. That's what's wrong with America right now. Cowardism has been instilled into the hearts and the souls and the spirits of the people in America, and they won't even defend themselves. I had 3 cars of state cops come up my driveway in Grants Pass, Oregon, because I had just busted somebody's head open a little bit. It could have been a lot worse, but they were assaulting me, and I cracked their head open a little bit. So here comes the militia. They ordered me out of my house with my hands up. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it didn't happen. Then they sent me a piece of paper a summons to come to their kangaroo court. That didn't happen either, folks. You folks need to learn. If you got guts, then you need to make a stand. If you're going to be a lay-down, starving lapdog, then you deserve whatever's given to you. I'm not throwing off on dogs. I'm just saying people that won't defend themselves, I got no sympathy for them. People that won't get together when they know who their enemies are, I have no sympathy for them. None at all. The politicians and their police state accomplices, along with the presidents who are appointed by the Rothschild, Illuminati, the Swiss Octagon, the New World Order, they deal drugs. They deal in human trafficking, even organs and blood, sacrifices of the environment and of human and animal lives for kicks, for shits and giggles. They start wars, and they use their media to convince the ignorant people that they need to go and attack Other countries who don't have an army and a navy and an air force, they don't even have a boat to get over to America. How can they be a threat to us? And then, of course, while they're there, killing all the people, they just decide the best thing to do is to rob their banks and their treasuries and their natural resources too. And that's what it's all about. And the people in America has been allowing this to go on. America's started over 180 wars. Their military. The United States is nothing but a military outpost and muscle for the Swiss Octagon, the Illuminati, the New World Order. They ignore the Constitution. They created a Supreme Court to destroy the Constitution. They sell arms to the terrorist cells that they form and create. Then they use the United Nations, which is the United States Army now. They use the military to protect the real terrorists while the military kills those good people of those countries who are trying to defend themselves. And then the media convinces you otherwise. And you're gullible and you go for it. You believe it. They have people murdered and they murder people themselves and they get away with it. Completely. Just like cops, when they kill somebody, maybe 1 out of 1,000 might end up in court being prosecuted because the family either had friends that in positions or they had enough money to push it. Try subpoenaing a cop to court and see how that works out for you. They practice or they keep company with those who practice ritualistic and occult practices, sacrifices, mostly children. They lie and they deceive to all of the citizens of all the countries. And they're receiving Nobel Peace Prizes for this, folks. We have a Scottish Templar, an Illuminati, an Illuminatist, Trump, in office. He's an actor. And he's convincing everybody he's a good guy. I'm not saying that he's all bad. And he's done some good things. But the guy, one of his main objectives is 5G. Having it installed all across the United States. AT&T's the ones with the contract. AT&T are not your friends. Just like PG&E in California. Allowing all the fires and all of the stuff going on out there. And now they want to turn it into a corporate company? Well, what is that, a buyout to the people? No, it ain't. The people out there know who their enemies are. And they're not lifting a finger to defend themselves, folks. Not a finger. The utility companies are all controlled by the same people who controls the police state, who controls the media, who controls the terrorist armies. And that's what armies and military governments and stuff are. They're terrorists. All these false flag attacks in America, where are the bodies? The police are in on it. The FBI, the CIA, they're all in on it. The government, the National Reserve, they all of them are in on it. And y'all think, and y'all believe it. You're like lapdogs. You just lap it up. Whatever CNN or Fox News tells you on TV, you just lap it up. That's one of your biggest mistakes in the world, watching TV. These people, their actions, and themselves personally, they are a mockery to all the peoples of the earth, especially the United States, who thinks that they elected them. Elections are nothing. It's a joke. Always has been a joke. They laugh at all the citizens and they joke amongst their Illuminati selves over their 5G and its capabilities of killing you in your sleep. The electromagnetic frequencies, folks, can disintegrate your body and turn you into chaff. Turn you into ash, to dust. They laugh at you. They boast about the HAARP machine and its control of all weather. It creates hurricanes, tornadoes, fire tornadoes, storms, droughts, floods, tsunamis. Then they use it to displace people. Then they disarm these people. Then they, just like California, rounding them up and putting them in FEMA prisons. They laugh at the citizens while all of this is going on. The direct energy weapons, the destructiveness of these things used on civilians. The chemicals and the poisons of the chemtrails and the inoculations of the pharmaceutical and the medical industries. Then you turn around and give them prestigious awards, Nobel Peace Prizes, when they are committing war crimes and and crimes against humanity and crimes against the environment, and you give them peace prizes? I don't get that. I don't get that. Are you serious about doing that? They mock this country, and they mock anything and everything good or decent or honorable that this country has ever done. This country was founded to have more freedom, more freedom of pursuit of happiness, to earn a living, to be independent, and they murdered millions of good people to take this country by force, and now they're doing the same thing. They're using technology to take it back from the slaves who have worked and used their slave-earned, the percentage that they were allowed to keep out of their slave earnings, to purchase properties and stuff that they think is theirs, but it's not really theirs. It makes my stomach turn. It angers me. It makes me feel irate and certifiable, even in my own mind. And the ignorant people, what do? They worship these presidents and politicians and these police controllers and all this kind of stuff. The New World Order. I mean, just bow down. Well, you should bend over too. Don't just bow down, turn around and bend over. Because that's what they're doing. They're socking it to you, babies. And I'm going to tell you what. There is no cure for stupid. And I'm going to tell you that I have to say this. You folks who think that you're making anybody believe that you do not know what's going on, you're lying to yourself. Because not only many other people know that you know what's going on, but you're too much of a coward to admit. Because somebody's going to ask you, how come you ain't doing something? And you military heroes and veterans, let me tell you something. The government gets your best 20 years while they mess up your mind and mess up your spirit, and then they spit you out after you have made the corporations a lot of money. And then you have to start all over again with little or nothing, and you're nothing still but a slave to the corporate bankers. And many of you are ruined, men and women. Some of you are ruined in different ways. You're crippled, or you've become addicted to drugs that were given you. And then you get together and you smile for the cameras, proud of your prosthetic limbs. Anybody who says, I'm proud to have to be a hero and serve my country, even though I don't have real arms or legs anymore, you're another liar. I don't know how much they're paying you to smile while you're waving around your metal arms and legs, but it's sickening to me. I have no respect for you at all. You hired out as a mercenary, you hired out as a terrorist, you got what you deserve. All the while you're enduring, some of you have to endure your nightmares from the innocent, unarmed women and children that you raped and slaughtered and murdered. And the men who didn't have any weapons to fight you. And don't you tell me that none of you have nightmares over killing a bunch of innocent people. You traveled a long way to go over there and kill them, murder them. And then some of you want to teach your kids that drugs are bad for them. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Your kids know who you are and what you are. And while they tell you, oh, Dad, you were such a great Marine, and you went over there and killed all of these bad guys and women and children and everything, them kids are going to wake up one day, and I'm going to tell you one thing. When they do wake up, they're going to be shamed by the actions of their parents. The government took away your jobs, and then they bribed you with offers of money to become mercenaries and terrorists for their private New World Order armies. And you went right for it. You let them take your jobs away, then you went for their offerings at a price of your conscience and your soul being. You've got to live with yourself now. And a lot of you don't even know who you are anymore. You don't even understand your own self. When you look at your image in the mirror and think back about some of the things you've done, or you wake up from a nightmare, you don't even hardly recognize yourself anymore. And don't you think your kids ain't picking up on it? Now, the Illuminati movies portray widespread civil unrest and war and diseases and famines. Diseases and viruses are not found in old exhumed bodies like the pharaohs of Egypt and Rome. They didn't have viruses and diseases because viruses and diseases are man-created, and man injects them into the veins of your children, and man administers these poisons and viruses to other men because the government pays them. The scientists and the people that do this, the doctors and the dentists, are not your friends. They are part of an organization of mass genocidal murderers and terrorists. And y'all go for it. You keep buying into it, and you bow down. And the AIs and the military and the machines are advancing to destroy most of the natural civilized parts of humanity that still remain. And you refuse to admit that you can see it coming because someone's going to ask you how come you ain't doing something about it. Soon the MI5 and 6 and CIA, NSA medias and everything, they will tell you just to surrender your will and everything that you own, and you can live. And you will do this. You'll do it willingly because you're too coward to do anything else. But you still won't find anything in their answers to the problems that they created for you except more lies and more deception. And you will perish in the wake of their will be done. Their movies and their books portray heroes who win against incredible odds. You get chilled, you laugh, you cry, you cheer at the mockery that they present straight in your face on humanity, and yet there are no real heroes. Where in the heck are they at? You're dramatized and you're traumatized, and you like it. Only the beast of anarchy are prevailing, because there are only a few real men in this country, and they are kept separated due to their fear of incarceration or being put down or punished for their individualism or some outspoken word. Just like the other countries have been doing for hundreds and thousands of years. You speak against the government, they kill you in other countries. And y'all don't know anything. Let me tell you, I have to say this. The biggest achievement of the New World Order and governments, United Nations, the biggest achievement that I have been able to determine from my research is the dehumanizing and the instillment of cowardice throughout humanity. There is no bigger achievement that I can recognize. When those of your children awaken, they will be shamed by the cowardice of their fathers, despite any military history or background. You see what they do to the Navy SEAL teams who know secrets? They kill a whole team at one time, call it an accident. That's BS, folks. You'll need to understand it. They just tie up their loose ends. And then they send your sons and your daughters to be mentally or physically crippled or to die in illegal and terroristic army wars. And all the while, they're spying on you as their enemies and suspects of illegal thinking. Your doctors and your dentists knowingly and willingly administer poisons to your children, and you eat it up. You don't do nothing. The FDA and the appointed politicians, they agree and they fill your bodies with parasites as well as toxins. And you give them your respect and allegiance for it. Your children will be real proud that you have set the same fate for them and their future. because you did nothing right now. The police state, like I said, is the first run on the ladder, of which you and me are not on that ladder. If you want to make a change, the police state is your first stop. You get my drift? I saw recently, I've seen it a few times, there's a movie with Gary Oldman and Denzel Washington entitled The Book of Eli. During that movie, Gary Oldman mentions about the Bible. He mentions that it's a book. It's a weapon for controlling the weak-minded and desperate people. It's a book of mind control, like I've been telling y'all for a pretty long time now. And you can't pick it. You refuse to pick it up. Well, if you think that some fictitious character out of that book is going to come back and make everything okay, when's that going to happen? Another million? Another 2 million? Another 20 million years? You won't know nothing about it. And your generations after you won't know anything, just as generations before you hasn't seen that happen. And y'all keep on believing that BS. You need to take action. What's happening to these people across the United States with these direct energy weapons, there is no excuse for the HAARP to be creating all of these hurricanes and these tornadoes, these floods, these tsunamis, these droughts, killing people like they did the Indians with poisons and starvation and thirst. And y'all keep allowing us to go on. The people in this country are going to get what they deserve for being the cowards that the majority of the people in this country are. And I don't care how many people you killed when you were in the military. I don't care how many people that you've done in working as a mercenary or anything. If you get in my face, you can do something with me frequency level or cyberly or with a drone. But if you physically get in my face and think you're going to control what I say, who I say it to, when and where, you better pack a daggone lunch.